Windows XP setup, which we'll be using. So we're going to go back to this, and we're actually going to hit B and select the proper. Let's drag this down here. We're going to select Windows XP setup boot.ini because this is Windows XP. Now select WinNT.sif. .sif files are predefined configurations for your product ID, your product serial number, your username, all the settings that I just censored out because I don't want you having. But if you need to change that, so be it. Alright, so once all of that's prepped up and you're ready to go, okay, I mean, of course, the SIF information, the same stuff that you'd go through as you were setting up Windows, time, date, location, all that crap. But anyway, once you get all that set up, we're going to hit the option 3. And this is actually going to start the process. It's going to measure some free space, copy some bootloaders, do some magic, copy some files, etc., etc. Now, once this actually gets going, it's going to take a little while, but it's going to actually ask you, once all of this is done, a couple of questions, which we'll get to once it actually pops up. Now, depending on the speed of your actual drive, if this is USB 1.1, yeah, I'll see you in the next coming of Christ. It'll take you forever and a day. Okay, so here's the first dialog box that we've come across. It's asking, do you want to copy the XP plus extra information, like the extra packages and whatnot, from the sources to your USB drive, or do you only want to copy the extra sources, meaning have you changed some kind of extra sources and you do not want to overwrite your current Windows XP or pre-boot environment installation off of this drive? Clicking yes will wipe everything off the drive and install it as it is. So that's what we want to do. The drive is already formatted. We're going to hit yes. And this is going to take about 15, maybe 20 minutes, depending on how full your Windows XP, how bloated it is. So we're just going to cut frame and leave all the boring stuff out. Alright, this question at the end, that's asking file copy to the USB drive is ready. Okay, success. Now this yes and no dialog box is asking us whether or not your device is going to be referring to your USB thumb drive as a thumb drive, or is it going to be referring it to as an actual hard drive. Now if your now you can check this in the BIOS, we'll do this in a minute on my EEE. When you plug in the USB thumb drive in, does it actually say USB thumb drive? If that is the case, click yes. If it doesn't, and it actually comes up as a USB hard drive, then click no. Okay, so I know it sounds a little complicated, but okay. Just try one or the other if it doesn't work. Now, notice at the screen right now says press any key to continue, but if you look down here, it's still going to access my thumb drive. Now, this access on the thumb drive will actually blink on and off a little bit for the next 45 seconds, maybe up to 3 minutes, depending if you're on USB 1.1. Either way, don't just pull the stick out and get too anxious. Wait it out. Man, if you do not have an LED indicator for the right indicator on your thumb drive, you know what? Go for a drink, come back in about 5 minutes. So, after this, you're pretty much done. There's not much more to this. You're going to fuck up the first couple of times, guaranteed. It took me a few tries before I actually got the boot parameters correct on my actual devices. Just be patient, give it a shot, give it a go. Don't know if I mentioned this, but you can also use this in conjunction with Nlight. Any Windows XP install will work, or Windows NT-based pre-boot environment. Alright, so you know what? You know me. I have a no bullshit policy on the show, so I'm going to go and, once this is done, while this is doing this, I'm going to actually cut frame. I'm going to go and point this at my TV. I'm going to take the EEE, hook it up, and we'll do a piracy-style screener. Alrighty. Got the USB thumb drive plugged into the USB port. Going to boot up the EEE real quick. And we're going to go into the BIOS. Alright. And we are going to go into the advanced. and check out the IDE configuration. Okay, so we've got the IDE hard drive is installed. We're going to go to the onboard devices, make sure our USB is enabled, and also check your BIOS to see if legacy USB support, and there's some BIOSes have more options when it comes to USB. You really need to poke around. If you don't know what you're doing, just don't save. Just go online, Google, ask questions. For the EEE, you actually have to go to the OS installation as start, then the boot order, which a lot of people actually completely overlook. First boot device should be removable devices. Second one should actually be a tappy CD-ROM, but I really don't feel like going CD-ROM. Okay, and third boot device will be our hard drive, and we're going to go to our hard disk drives. Notice how the first drive is labeled as HDD, Solid State Media, ASUS, Fission. The second drive, the second device, is USB, Memorex, Travel Drive. Now, this is the in preference to that last question that USB Multiboot asked us, whether or not it's going to be your USB thumb drive will be detected as a thumb drive or a hard drive. This is in fact showing us that it is being detected as a thumb drive. Okay, so we're going to exit and save changes. Not that we saved anything. And I'm going to just boot up into the bootloader real quick. Start booting off the USB thumb drive. Press escape to boot. USB thumb drive blinking away as it's being accessed. This will take a little while. Now, of course, this is not as fast as an optical drive if it was physically tied into the IDE bus or serial ATA, either way. Okay, so we have step 1, begin text mode setup of Windows XP. Never unplug the USB drive until log on. That is very good information. That is a very good tip. Do not unplug this USB drive even if you shut your computer down and turn it back on. Just don't. Just leave it in. Then the second step and third step would be to continue with the graphical user environment mode, but I'm going to start with step 1, and you'll notice that it'll just load into the typical shameless Windows XP blue loading screen, and this will probably take me about 3 hours to complete. It's not the fastest setup in the world, but proof of concept. You can, in fact, install and run Windows XP and Windows NT pre-boot environments and installations from a USB thumb drive. For more information, go to the forums in the show notes for this segment, and I will put some links and information pertaining some help and advice and all that other jazz. Now, this is probably going to take me about 3 hours, so you go fuck off and enjoy the rest of the episode while I suffer.